Folks. A lot of fans will always say things about the Sonic characters and kind of express how they feel. One fan called that I read some stuff from before, uh, Laviarry or LA as we call him, Laviarray. Laviarry or Levi or whatever it's called. We'll call him LA. I guess recently decided about 3 days ago, so almost 4 days ago, to do what he called a study analysis on Archie's Sonic character studies. Basically, do his own analysis on it. And he starts out basically with, he goes through 5 different categories. He goes through one, two, three, four, five characters. He talks about 5 characters. He talks about relationships, and he has a conclusion. So, what characters does he start off with? Well, what other character is there to start off with? And then, of course, Sally. Hold on for a sec. Sorry about that, folks. Thought my mom came back from Bible study already. But anyway, they start off with L.A. starts off with Sally, and this is what they had to say about 3 days ago, 3 days, 3 hours ago. This is what they said, and I quote. Sally tends to inspire either deep love, or pure hatred Okay, hold on. And again, I apologize, I'm tired of work today. It says, this is what they say, and I quote, Sally tends to inspire either deep love or pure hatred from many Sonic fans for many different reasons. Personally, I find her more frustrating, because I find her to be the most boring, hollow character in the cast when by all metrics, she should be my favorite. In most stories I follow, I tend to connect with and like the smarter characters in the cast. Leo and Donnie from TMNT, Abed from Community, Twilight Sparkle from MLP, Pearl from Steven Universe, etc. And, if they're in charge, instant favorite, the 11th and 12th Doctors and Doctor Who. However, I think I've been frustrated with her because of how her character is written. She isn't written to be smart, she is written to be correct. One of the main problems with her character is that the main element she is used for in the comics is conflict resolution, and she is written to be the correct one. 2 military leaders are about to fight. Sally can calm them down and have them drinking tea within the hour. Ever dealing with an unstoppable robot? Sally always comes up with a strategy to beat them. Dealing with a rampaging werewolf? Sally can calm them down without even flinching. In short, she is regularly used to solve every problem that the series has that isn't action related. Now I say correct instead of smart for two reasons. One, many times these conflicts happen, they don't rely on her trying to figure them out or brainstorm. Several times they just rely on Sally being Sally without any effort or challenge on her part. Two, her decisions are always how conflicts are resolved, with very few exceptions. Sally's decisions are usually the ones that conclude whatever plot that she is a part of. Now this by itself isn't frustrating. Really, this just makes it come off like a plot device that the writer can use to end a story whenever they want. However, the downside of this is how this affects her character. Due to constantly being correct and rarely having challenges or weaknesses, many fans and critics have nicknamed Sally the perfect princess. Now she has had moments of weakness, like her dealing with the Mecha Sally trauma or her loss to Eggman. But these didn't come from her own failures, but from outside forces, and in general is shown in a positive light. Is on good terms with everyone she meets and doesn't have any major hindrance or internal problems to overcome. However, the story does not use this in a quite interesting way. However, the story does use this in quite interesting way. Sally is used as a straight man/woman for characters to bounce off of and grow from their interactions with Sally. While Sonic tends to be the main one to get this treatment, side characters like Dr. LED also interact with Sally to reflect on their problems. This way she can allow other people to show off who they are and grow from their mistakes and learn from their interactions with her. Two massive problems. First off, this aspect implicitly makes her sanctimonious in every situation and interaction, essentially removing any challenges or conflicts she can experience. If she is ever in a situation where she disagrees with someone or they have a conflict they are dealing with, she can just tell them they are wrong and how to fix it. Characters like Dr. LED are even written to be wrong just to put Sally in the right. Quote, "Oh, I spent a large portion of my life trying to bring my daughter back to life as an AI, and after I thought it failed, it turns out she did end up coming to life and is self-aware. Let me go ahead and treat her with disdain and refer to her as it, in front of her friends no less, because that makes sense." And you can hear the sarcasm there. I'll be right back. Gotta get me something to drink. That's better. Nothing like a little Dr. Pepper to keep you awake. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, like I was saying, you heard the sarcasm there from LA, right there. So, continuing on, this is what they say, and I quote, "Now, mentor characters tend to also feel this role as well. Bring the character others can come to so they can grow and learn from. Ignoring the fact that there is no support for her to be a mentor, aside from princess training before the series, Sally is a lead character, arguably the deuteragonist. Whatever that word is? What is the point of having a character in the forefront that has nothing to be challenged by, or any internal conflicts to overcome? Yes, she does have conflicts, but they come off like the writer covering up story details as they do not factor into her character development. Not only are those problems caused by external forces, but they have little to nothing to do with her own decisions and never have any ramifications afterwards. For example, she decides to keep her emotions closed off from everyone so they will see her as a leader, but she is never, quote unquote, intentionally shown to have more distant relationships with anyone or ever comes off cold or distant to anyone. Either this was a lame attempt to make her seem put upon and sympathetic, or it was Flynn's way of sweeping the Mecha Sally trauma. You decide. But the most frustrating thing about this is that this arc repeats over and over again. Sally makes a mistake or decision because the plot demands her to. It has some casualties. She feels bad. Sonic / Nicole she tells herself to get over it. She does, and everything is right in the world. Until the plot needs her to make a mistake. She never grows or challenged in any way. Nothing new about her is ever established, and nothing about her is changed afterwards. I feel like this wouldn't be so frustrating or as noticeable if it wasn't for the second problem that I have rarely even seen mentors overcome. She's boring. Since being correct is the only aspect of her character that is ever addressed or challenged, she's completely underdeveloped in every other aspect of her character. She is never shown to have any hobbies, quirks, fears, or goals outside of beating the villain of the day. She doesn't have any problems or character moments that show off who she is outside being the quote-unquote perfect princess. This is why she comes off self-righteous when she is placed in the morally superior role to characters that have established goals and commit actions moving the plot forward. Quote, on Sonic, when you realize that speed isn't a replacement for common sense. Unquote. Or quote, I just saved like 10 people. Unquote. Quote, no common sense. Unquote. Why should I side or like a character who can't do anything outside of looking down on people? Now I know a lot of people get on her for not having any weakness, but for me this is the worst thing about her, is how boring and dull she is. I can stand a character who is always right and made to be sanctimonious. I love it when characters can give a reason you suck speech, but they need to have any kind of characterization for me to connect with. Not only does she not have any traits or goals to sympathize or empathize with, but she rarely shows a facial expression outside a mild content, even in places where it doesn't make sense. Seeing her computer's AI stand in a body which is unheard of, even in this world, mildly surprised. The blank profile even spreads into official artwork like the Sonic Universe 72 variant cover, where everyone else was doing something and showing an expression related to how they feel about romance, but Sally just had a confident smile that had nothing to do with the joke that the 6 other shown characters were contributing to the shipping joke, because of those established profiles. Heck, even in fan art she constantly has either a faint smile or annoyed expression from someone else's actions. Unless they are trying to make a point about her. However, I have to abundantly admit, I think the lack of characterization and expression is what many fans like about her. There's a theory about character writing, about a character being written to be a neutral mass. A character who usually has little to no personality, usually is the chosen one or something inherent about them is special for some vague reason. The story is centered on them for, and they are written to be the hero, even though they usually luck into being the hero, though no effort on their own. They are written this way so audience members can easily slip themselves into imagining themselves as that character, giving them either wish fulfillment or escapism. Prime examples are Harry Potter, Bella Swan, Twist Pryor, Neo, etc. They all rarely have any agency in the story, are special for something inherent to them, have no wants or goals, and rarely have any emotional response outside of being snide or snarky when the plot dictates, thereby letting the audience feel themselves into the character. I compare Sally to this not only because of her inherent importance and lack of character, but from how I've seen fans defend her. Many fans that I've seen defend her usually by listing off traits like her being heroic and being caring and how they look up to her and see themselves in her, and honestly, I can't blame them. On paper, Sally is caring, has her life together, and handles any problem that she faces. However, since she doesn't have any other quirks or unique tendencies, it is easier for people to imagine themselves as her and make up traits to fit this character. Such as people calling her a deep character because she is a teen mom, solely by her caring for team's well-being. Really, I'm hesitant about calling her a neutral mask because since she does make decisions and has an active presence in the story. However, I think it's because of that presence is why she is so controversial. Since she has some decisions and agency in the story, Sally is able to appeal to people who want someone who is in charge regardless of it having no weight. However, if someone doesn't just want a character who is in charge and doesn't buy into her neutral mask, she can come off too perfect. Or if you're like me and hate neutral mask as a concept, she comes off as boring because neutral masks aren't characters, self-righteous because she has nothing supporting her when she looks down on others, and alien because no one acts like this. With all the problems I can list about her, why do I think I keep talking about her? I think it's because the same reason people like to critique movies like The Room or Twilight. Seeing a character this broken and trying to figure out why is really quite fascinating. Figuring out why she bugs me so much because of her blank slate of a personality, sanctimonious treatment of a character, and blatant use of as a plot device really helps me to understand how characters work in a story and why people like them. I guess this is my long way to say at least she's interestingly broken, unlike the other four who are just broken. Now, LA does go on to talk about Buddy and Nicole, but I'll get into that probably later on down the line. But I will say this. LA, I can respect what you're saying about her, and everybody has their opinion. But like I said in my video, and you can check that out, she, along with the other characters, do have what I call some sonic quirks in their personality now. And I explained why in that video, that two-part video. Like this is going to be a two-parter. But I explained there why they have those sonic quirks. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. But for anybody else, I'll provide the links to this analysis along with the other links to the other ones. You guys can check those out. And that's really all I'm going to say on it. But like I say, I will say this. There are some